You know the moment is new. Yet for a few seconds, it feels remembered. The light, the words, even the turn of the room seem to arrive twice. Then the feeling is gone. Most people know it. Researchers have even learned how to make the feeling more likely inside a virtual world. But that experiment did not settle what déjà vu is. It revealed something stranger. Familiarity can appear even when the memory it seems to promise is nowhere to be found. Start with what the feeling actually is. It isn't simply that something seems familiar. The familiarity arrives with a second, colder certainty right beside it. This cannot have happened, because the moment is new. Both feelings arrive together, and neither immediately cancels the other. Déjà vu is not a recovered memory. It is familiarity arriving without a source you can identify, together with the knowledge that the feeling does not fit the present moment. And the strangest part is how ordinary it is. Most people have felt it, usually for a few seconds, and then it quietly lets go. Because the feeling disappears quickly, researchers created conditions in which déjà vu reports could be studied. Participants moved through a series of virtual scenes. Some new scenes shared the spatial configuration of scenes viewed earlier, although participants could not consciously recall those earlier scenes during the test. As the configurations became more similar, familiarity ratings and déjà vu reports increased. That is an analog in the lab, not proof of the everyday cause. Here is what that points to. The new scene really did match something real, the layout of a place the person had walked before. But the memory of that earlier place stayed out of reach. The sense of knowing appeared, while its source could not be found. Familiarity without a source. Greater similarity to an earlier layout increased familiarity in déjà vu reports when participants could not recall the earlier scene. That's one idea, drawn from what the experiment shows. It is not a map of any single place in the brain. The virtual world isn't the only idea. Two others come up often. One proposal concerns divided attention. A scene is registered briefly while the person is distracted, then receives full attention a moment later. Another proposal separates familiarity from recollection. Something can feel familiar even when the memory that might explain the feeling is unavailable. Both are plausible. Neither has settled the question. They sit beside the virtual world result as possibilities, not answers. There is another experiment worth describing, because it addresses a common belief about déjà vu. In the feeling, people often sense they know what is about to happen next, as if they have been here before and can see it coming. Researchers tested that inside the virtual world. Participants were more likely to feel that they knew the next turn, but their predictions were no more accurate than chance. The experiment therefore found no evidence of actual prediction. Past life and simulation stories are cultural interpretations, not conclusions supported by this research. Together, the experiments established two limited findings: similarity to an unrecalled scene can increase familiarity, and déjà vu does not improve prediction. They do not establish a single cause for everyday déjà vu. For most people, brief and occasional déjà vu is common and usually not a cause for concern. Déjà vu can also occur as part of some temporal lobe seizures. What tends to set that apart isn't the feeling itself but its company. Episodes that come more often, last longer, or arrive with fear, confusion, strange smells or tastes, or a loss of awareness. Repeated or prolonged episodes, with symptoms like those, are worth discussing with a medical professional. The next time it happens, notice the two parts, the familiarity, and the knowledge that it does not belong. Experiments can reproduce parts of that conflict, but they cannot yet explain every everyday episode. If you remember where you were the last time it happened, tell me in the comments. Subscribe for the next chapter of Ancient You.